Gia, what's going on? It's your boy Quan John here reading Motivational Motives. It's a bona fide manuscript. It's a book of real life parables, quintessential quotes, and reasons to reflect. It can be purchased in Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Nobles, and over 40,000 international mom and pop shops. So get your copy, 100.
Author Sylvia Brown Roberts with another discussion question from Behind Church Doors, my first novel in the Church Doors series. Discussion question 12. Nikki Mack is very surprised when she sees Darius Muse, a man who attacked her years ago, attend a church service and stand and say he wants to be baptized. But before he makes his confession, he turns around to the congregation and tells everybody what he did to Nikki Mack those years ago. Then he looks at Nikki Mack and says, Nikki Mack, before I get baptized, would you please forgive me for what I did to you long ago? If you were Nikki Mack, what would you say? More next time.
I am grateful. I am blessed. I am loving. I am a woman of perseverance. I'm inspiring. I'm a motivator. I'm fierce. I'm unique. I'm a winner. I'm extraordinary. I'm humble. I'm hardworking. I'm trustworthy. I'm beautiful. I'm intelligent. I'm courageous. I'm outspoken. I am love. And I am enough.
Wanda is considered one of the most passionate and positive people you'll ever meet. both personally and professionally. Her inspirational mentoring, sales, and customer service training has dubbed her to be Wanda D. Hollis, the Motivational Queen. She launched Wanda D TV, a revolutionary online real estate talk show where local businesses and community leaders discuss their services, issues, and concerns. Wanda is passionate about helping people achieve their goals and dreams. She has gone on to pursue many passions, including her I Am Enough talk show, having a seat on the West Georgia Board of Realtors, author of inspirational and motivational books, and also a strong supporter of several nonprofit organizations within her community. Wanda believes that there's no such thing as bad decisions, only regrets of not making the right attempt. For speaking engagements or to book her for your next event or conference, please visit www.iamenough365.com.
What's up? Hello, how are you? How are you out there all over the land, near and far? Come on in, come on in. It's that time. It is the first Summertime International Virtual Book Fair, and it's me, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, your accountability coach, helping you get it done. So this is our day of 5. Yes, we have one more day. And this is our second half. We came to you earlier this morning or this afternoon, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and now it's 7 o'clock. So you know what time that is. It's time to tell everybody that we're on. Do me a favor. Hashtag I am enough. Hashtag book fair. Come on in, spread the love, spread the word. Tell everybody that it's on. No matter where you're watching, it's happening right now. So I want to just give some thanks and some shout out to, first of all, Grady Baby Radio for allowing us to stream on there as well. So if you're on that platform, then hello, how are you? Good to see you. Good to be seen. They say better seen than viewed, something like that. You get the gist of it. And excuse me. And also we're on Twitch TV. And if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell like this. Where's my bell? Where's my bell? Here it is. Hear that? That's how that bell goes off. So if you on YouTube, then do that for me. Facebook, wherever you are. I just want to say thank you and welcome. We have been jamming. The authors have been dropping so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much transparency, so much growth. I am super duper excited. I don't know. And wore out at the same time. It's so emotional. You know, when people share their stories from a place of just transparency, it just becomes overwhelmingly emotional. And that's what's going on over here. So if you've been following the whole time, I want you to leave us a comment, say something. If it's just hello, if you just sliding through for a minute, just say hello. We got Boston in the house. Hey, Vet, how you doing out there? And we have some other people over there on Twitch TV. We're also on Twitch TV. So just welcome. I'm going to give you a minute to come on in the room before I bring up my first author for tonight. And they're going to talk about their book and what they have going on. Now, below you will see the information for you to contact the authors, for you to follow them, support them, so pay attention and reach out to them because they have other things going on. Some of these are business women and men. I talked to some people earlier. They were releasing movies and stage plays. And if you were here a moment ago, you saw Miss Sylvia, and she has done a series called Behind Church Doors, and she'll soon be releasing a movie that's connected with that particular series. So it's just so exciting to see people winning in their gifts and talents and doing the things that they love to do, because that's what life is all about. Doing the things that you love to do and keep doing it and 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 doing it good. Yeah, I'm all over the place. That's how I am. So this is me. If I talk long enough, I get a song that pop in my head, and then I'm gonna give you that song. You don't even have to ask for it. I'm gonna give it to you anyway. Well, And another thing, this a disclaimer here. I'm in Georgia. It's been raining all day. Our internet service sometimes sucks lemons. So please forgive us in advance if it gets kind of crazy and choppy. And if it does, we'll just kind of like break away from the feed and probably catch up another day. Because we've had that issue with several of the authors that's just had bad service. And you know how that is. And we can't predict. Technology is something we can't predict. That's why I'm encouraging you to follow the other authors as they come on and they leave their contact information. So if you want to talk with them further, by all means, talk to them. So have you tagged somebody in the feed? Have you told them that we're on live? Have you invited them to the to our first summertime international virtual book fair? Have you done that yet? Go ahead and do that. You don't have to worry. You won't be disappointed, and they will love you for it. Yes, yes, yes. So I am going to see. Okay, my other author, she says her internet is a little bit unstable. Let me see if I can get her on in here. See if we can make it happen. And how are you doing? As you come in, tell me where you're tuning in from, so I'll know. We'll know what part of the world you're in, and please, by all means, send us some positive vibrations. Drop us some hearts down in there. Do all of the things you need to do. But my very first author, I'm going to see if I can get her on here. See what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? I tell you what's going on. Queen, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Hello. Uh-oh. We're in a bad way. Okay. It's not good, Queen. It's not good at all. Okay, she's gone. So that's how that cookie's gonna crumble. But no need to fear, because we have more. And so hopefully, as people come on, that their internet will support the system. So I'm just hoping that works out for us, because this is definitely not going to do. Hi, Kia. What have been y'all takeaways so far? If you enjoyed the book fair up to this point, if you've been hanging out, do you have any takeaways? Did you perhaps get inspired? I was talking to Tiasha earlier, and she said, "You know what? I'm inspired to get into poetry. I used to write, and now I think I want to get back into poetry." I said, "Well, go for it. The world is so great. With your talents, you could do just about anything you want to do. So just get started." That's what I've learned. I've learned that life is just too short to be hesitant about doing anything that you want to do. And so when something hits you, when something comes up on your spirit, just go do it. I wanna show you a clip right quick, and it's talking about. I'm gonna introduce a book to you that actually, this is the book that my co-author is coming on to talk about, but it's the second volume of Waking Up Winning. I talked about the first volume earlier, and the second volume, it has a theme song to it. So I want you to take a listen to this. It was written and also arranged by Felicia Gardner, and AKA Be the Light. And a plug, if you are in need of a jingle for your business, or if you would like a song developed for your book or your production, or perhaps movies, you need some scores or whatever, she can do that for you. Okay. All you have to do is sit down with her and give her your vision. You know, she can really, really construct something really nice for you. So I just want you to take a listen to this. And it's also our book, kind of like our book flashes. So what you'll see is you'll see all the authors that are in the collaboration. And one thing I love about collaborations is you have everybody's story to draw on, you know. And also with collaborations is a great way for if you're a new author and you want to perhaps you want to write a book, but you don't want to do it alone. You have then the opportunity to write it with other people, being that that book is in alignment to, you know, whatever it is you want to do, your spirit. Our book, Wake Up Winning No Matter What, because losing is not an option. This book was Black men and women beating the odds and making a positive impact in today's uncertain times. So you have a lot of stories in here, people talking about, you know, certain things that happened, transpired in their life and how they overcame it, and also what they're doing now. So, you know, you have people that's doing some amazing things in the book. And also it has 12 steps to developing a winning mindset, because everything is mental, you know, it's spiritual and mental. And if you don't have those things together as you walk through whatever process, whatever storm, whatever, you know, situation that you have to go through, if you don't have that together, then it's very difficult to get through it. But if you constantly fight to keep that in a good, you know, to keep yourself in a good spot, it makes it easier. You know that, hey, this is temporary. I'm gonna get through it. What are my tools? So in this book, every author gives you tools on how to cope through difficult times, through difficult situations. They give you meditation tools and tips. They let you peek into their life about how some of the things that they do, some of their rituals that they do, whether it's, you know, a morning ritual or a night ritual or whatever. So it's a great book. So I want you to take a listen to this and let me know. Tell me what you think. I'll be right back.
You gotta take time out to focus on you. Don't take on any task that don't belong to you. It's a perfect day to make a change. Gotta put the brakes on anything that get in your way. No time to second guess. You gotta put your trust in God and walk by faith. It's time to change your life. Know what you want and apply. Go far beyond than just try. Goodbye to yesterday. Today is a day to claim your destiny. Just clap your hands if you understand. Just clap your hands if you understand.
So what'd you think? Did you like it? Did you love it? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I just love that song. And the whole version really, really, you know, there's the extended version of it, and it really gets you just a bobbing and you feel good. And, you know, I say, don't let nothing get in your way. Don't let nothing get in your way. And that's what life is all about. Even when you have hiccups, such as right now, such as this one, where you're thinking you're going to be talking to somebody and then you're not. So you have to keep going. The show goes on, right? So I'm just excited to be here, really, for a lot of reasons. You know, as you sit down and you talk to people, you realize that everybody has a story. And I want to kind of give you some tools right now if there's somebody listening until our other author gets here. If you're thinking about writing your book and you say, well, I'm ready to do it right now. One of the things that I would suggest to you is that you get you a partner or a coach or an accountability partner and do a timeline. Don't just leave it up to I get it done whenever and it takes you 20 years to do it. You can literally have, depending on what type of book it is, you can have it out in the next 30 days. You can go and sit and write your book tonight if that's, if it's right there inside, right there, and you're like, I know exactly what I want to say, just go do it. And then by the time you take it to production and you get it proofread and you get your edits done and all that kind of stuff, you can really get it done in a short amount of period of time. And I just want to say, share this one tip that I liked that Eric gave. This is not my tip. This is Eric's tip. I want to get people, put the tip where the tips are due. So Eric says that he sets his, a timer, like his clock or his, what do you call that? Alarm on his phone, that he sets alarm on his phone and it goes off every day at a certain time. And at that time he writes. And that's the discipline that you need to getting it done. Setting a certain amount of time out of your day to write. I like to write in the morning. I like to do everything. I'm a super early morning bird. So this morning I was up at 3:00. People were still up from last night. I could tell from the conversations, but I get up really early, and the first thing I do is I write down what's on my mind, because these are when your dreams are fresh, So I would recommend that if your goal is to start writing, to just have that period of time, to make a decision that you're going to write at a certain time every day, and don't let anything prohibit you from doing it, So it's like anything else. You have to practice at it, be consistent till it just becomes a part of you. And why do I say get a accountability coach or a writing coach or somebody that holds you accountable? The reason why I say that is because when you have someone that holds you accountable, it then puts pressure on you, and that pressure is to finish it. They're asking you questions like, did you do that? And it's a timeline. So then when I'm working with somebody, I always put a date on when is it that you want to get this done. And I'm insistent about them putting a date. So if you say, well, I want to have this out by Christmas, it's like, okay, fine. Then we're going to have this out by Christmas. And almost immediately we start in pre-sales, because when you start pre-sales, then that also puts pressure on you. You can't be telling people you're going to have a book coming out and then there's no book. So as you put a date on it, then it gives you your timeline. So when you have that date, you can say, okay, well, I'm gonna have my first draft done by this date, and then it goes away and then it comes back. Then you might have to do some rewrites. So you have it done again. In the meantime, you're working on your cover. Some people like to do their cover first, but I would say one thing about the process of writing is you have to be flexible, not in the decision to complete, but in how some of the steps that come along the way. You may want to, your cover that you choose for the book, it may not be the cover that you end up with. So you have to be flexible. In the why it may not end up that way is because you may change the tone of the book and it just does not coincide with what you're talking about. So those are some of the things. And then give yourself time to look at different ideals of covers. You may say, well, I want it to be in blue, and then all of a sudden, no, let me back up with this, because this is two different things. People write different types of books. So from the perspective of a business, if you have your signature colors, most of the time people want to stay within their colors because it's all a matter of branding. But if that's not the issue, if that's not the case, then that doesn't matter. So when we even started doing the cover for our second volume of Wake Up Winning, I knew I wanted to stay in that color palette, which is like the oranges and the bright colors. So I really, it doesn't look like the same book, but it's in the same color pattern. And when you're doing sequels. Sometimes people want all of their sequels to kind of mirror each other. So those are just the things that you have to decide. And sometimes it helps to have other people involved to give you their opinion. But I'm the kind of person which I don't need a lot of opinions in my business. I just want to say, you know what, that's what I want and I'm gonna go for it, because sometimes too many opinions complicate things, because you're like, they said I should do this, and then you kind of get all confused with too many opinions, and it just gets crazy. So you really want to have an idea of what you want, and then just go to your accountability partner and say to them, you know what, this is what I want, and I want you to hold me accountable so I can get this done in the timely manner, because I want to have this out by Christmas. And then there's certain book sale times that people like Christmas, holidays. That's always a good time to sell books. So I hope that helps. Those are just a few tips, and of course there's a lot, and you can do your research. And we're in a day and age now of so much information to where that too can get overwhelming. So you just want to let the spirit guide you. That's what I do. So you do what you do. Well, I'm going to bring on my first author for today. She's back there in the green room, just holding on, waiting. And she's going to come in and introduce herself. And then we're going to talk about her book. And she's going to let you in on some of her secrets of how she completed. And remember, this is all about the authors. This is their time. This is their legacy. And we have to support the author. So I want you to put your hands together. Okay. Put your hands together now. Put your hands together now. Come on, y'all. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Put your hands together. Come on, come on, come on. And the crowd goes wild.
Yes, I love your energy.
How you doing, Kiki?
I'm good. How are you?
I am excellent. It's so good to see your beautiful smile and your beautiful face. And that smile looks good on you. I'm gonna tell you that. That smile looks good on you. Yes. How are you? Now what part of the world are you in?
I am in California, actually.
You okay, sunny California. Okay. So immediately when you say California, I'm thinking of either Snoop. That's where you took me right there. So I was gonna sing my little nice song, but I won't sing it. I won't give it to you right now. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna ask you to do me another favor too. In our private chat, put down your IG or your Facebook, however you want people to follow you on Instagram or Facebook, and also how you want them to purchase your book. Is your book on Amazon? Is that, or you have your website? Okay.
So it is on Amazon. So that's the best way that people.
Okay, that's the way you want it. Okay. So then do you have your website as well?
No, I currently don't have a website.
So that's fine. That's fine. So just put down in the private chat, so then I can move that over to lower third. Put that down to your social media links. Right. Put that in there for me. And once you do that, then you're going to introduce yourself to our lovely audience, and we'll come back and we're going to talk about Crash. I can't wait to get into that book. I think your cover is super sexy. And we will definitely get into that in just a moment. Okay.
Awesome.
And I'm going to move myself on out the way and give you the screen. So introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kiki Monet. I am the author of Crash. My book has been out for, I want to say, about 2 years now. I've been promoting it very slowly. It's very close to me, very personal. I'm excited to get into it. And yeah, I'm from the Bay Area. I work with teens. I'm a school counselor and also in a PhD program. So I mainly wrote my novel for queer teenagers. So happy to be here.
All right, I'm coming. I'm here. I'm here. So, so you said it's been out for a year or 2 years?
It's been about 2 years now. I feel like time flies.
It
So
does. It
I'd
does.
say like 2 years at this point.
Okay, for 2 years, and I heard something else. You said you are you teaching?
So I'm a school counselor. I work with eighth graders.
Oh,
Yeah, my babies. And then I'm also in my PhD program for clinical psychology. So the goal is to continue to work with teens and support them with their mental health.
oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. What drew you to that particular field?
You know what? I always worked with kids growing up. My mom had a daycare.
Mm-hmm.
I was really little, and I think that's where my love for kids kind of grew. And then my grandma was a foster mom, and I used to help
Okay.
her take care of her kids as well. So, yeah, I think the love for kids just runs in my family. And
Wow.
I always say, like, the one thing that breaks your heart is the one thing you should work to change. And so
Mm-hmm.
seeing like kids of color who just deal with so much, especially those who are queer, that breaks my heart. And so that's kind of what got me into the field because I want to help them. So
Yeah, that is so beautiful. I never heard that before. The thing that breaks your heart is the thing that you should work towards change. I love that. I love that so much. And you know what? This seems, Kiki, this seems to be the day of caregivers. I don't know how that is, but I was saying to someone earlier, and they said, "Did you set up these authors like this?" I said, "No, I did not. I simply gave them the schedule, and they chose when they wanted to come." And I see the spirit just kind of drew all of the caregivers to come on one day, and all of the evangelists to come on another. It has been really, really just interesting how this has all been taking place. And I know the eighth graders seem to be, that's kind of like a real difficult age.
yeah,
Would you think? What?
very much so. They're going through a ton of transitions. I noticed that's the age when they're just getting into exploring their identity, which is
Mm-hmm.
huge. But that's also why I love that age group. I love exploring with them and helping them transition to high school, getting to know them better. So my love
Yeah,
for them just grew as a school counselor.
that's great. So what else do you like to do besides take care of the beautiful children?
I do a lot. So I'm also a pole dancer.
Oh,
So I pole dance, been pole dancing for a little over a year. Actually, I have a huge performance tomorrow, so I'll be practicing for that
okay.
tonight. So I do that, and then of course I have my writing on the side. I feel like I wrote Crash during a time that was very monumental for me. I was,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with a lot of family issues. It took me years to be comfortable with my identity, and so that's what my book is mainly about: is exploring it and the many different relationships within it. So I kind of, it's interesting because I feel like if I don't feel like I would have had the time to write my book today with everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time, for some reason, I had that time to sit down and just reflect on my life and everything going on. So writing is my love as well. I wish I had more time to do it more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this book is so dear to me.
Yeah, I was sharing before you came on. I was sharing with one of the authors had shared how he does his process of writing every day, and he said he sets his alarm, and when it goes off, he writes. And if it's just 10, 15 minutes, because we do have time, it's just that we do something else with our time. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm sitting there watching a movie, well, maybe turn the movie off, and do something else. But I thought that was a good gauge to share with people, because time is something that we don't have any control over.
Yeah.
So we have to decide on what is valuable with the time that we have. And I just love the fact that you have accomplished publishing your book, because there's a lot of unfinished books out here.
Yeah.
So take us through Crash and tell us why the name, what's the name and where did you get the name, and what is the concept of the book about?
So the main thing that my book is about, it's my memoir. So it's my life story. It covers every single relationship that I've been in, covering or to the point to where it covers the one where I'm in today with my loving partner. So I would call it a coming out book, to be honest. As mentioned earlier, I just wrote it at a time where there was a lot of turmoil going on in my life. It took me till the age of 24 to finally get my parents to accept my identity and accept who I was. And so I wrote it at a time when I was still dealing with pain and still talking to my parents about who I am and still advocating for myself and my partner. So it takes you through different twists and turns, all the way from when I was in high school, early high school, ninth grade, all the way up to college and so forth, of me discovering who I am and empowering myself and my identity. That's why I like to say, I've been told that my book is mainly for baby queers from the people who have read it, which is funny. I mean, I do think it is for that audience mostly, for like teens who are just really struggling with that part of themselves.
And how was it when you said it was very hard in talking with your parents? What about other people? Was it hard with them, you know, knowing who you are? Who were you comfortable with? I should say is a better question, because we always have somebody that we can go to. Who were you comfortable with, and how did they help you?
I would say I was most comfortable with my partner today. She just always made me feel loved and made me feel like I could be my complete self with her. And I like to say that I'm just very like socially awkward. I always just felt uncomfortable with who I am. And I think that comes from the trauma that I kind of dealt with in my childhood from not being accepted. But meeting someone like my partner who was just like, I love you for who you are. I love everything about you. That's who I became most comfortable with. As well as the rest of the LGBTQ community. Of course, they all embraced me, but it was the family that was the hardest. My church family, I grew up in the church, so that was hard too. So I think I just found love in a partner who made me feel empowered.
And what's the relationship now with your parents?
It's actually way better.
That's good.
So my book was very therapeutic for me to write. After I finished it, I want to say about a few months down the line, I decided to have a talk with my parents and let them know how I felt growing up and, the abandonment issues that I deal with today as a result of them not accepting me. And I just let it all out to my mom and my dad. And she finally apologized. My dad apologized as well. And, they're very traditional and they're older. And they were just kind of like, we just didn't know how to accept you. It was new for us. And so I was understanding of that. So I had to, understand their situation too. And it was just a very open dialogue that I appreciate to this day. And so I'm just able to be more comfortable with that now.
Yeah, in which that is so good, that they were able to see past their traditions, because there's this world that we live in, and you have to love is love. That's my thing. It's like I've always said my religion is love, to love myself, to love everybody, because we're all spirit. And sometimes though we get caught up in traditions and we get caught up in in the past, and it's very hard. So we have to learn how to accept them for who they are as well, and vice versa, and just carry on with life. Do you have any other siblings? Are you the only child?
Yes, I have a twin sister.
Oh, you're a twin. Oh, bless your heart. Okay. Are y'all identical twins?
We're fraternal and totally different. So that also made it harder. She's mentioned in my book as well, because we were so different, and she's straight and I grew up as like a queer, like awkward teen. And so we had totally different experiences, even though we are twins, you know?
Because we're all unique. Even though
Right.
we're twins, we're still unique. Now, is your book, by your book being so helpful and it helped you and it was very therapeutic for you, is it something that you use to like go and talk to the youth, the teenagers of today? Do you use that as like a guideline to in relating your story to somebody? Do you use that as well?
That's a great question. You know, I've actually struggled with outreaching to teens in particular. They're younger, so I haven't quite figured out the best methods of outreach to them. A lot of people who have read my book are adults, but I want to outreach to that community more. I just haven't quite figured out how to. And then the kids I work with today, like counseling, I just think it would be a little awkward for them considering,
Yeah.
I'm their counselor. So for me, it's just a matter of figuring out how to get through to that audience. So still working.
Because I think it's definitely needed because a friend of mine, which she's also a psychiatrist, and it was kind of ironic that she was going through something with her daughter, and she said, I found myself really being upset with my daughter, but then I was opening up my house to everybody. But when my daughter came to me and told me that she was gay, it was like I didn't understand it. So I put my daughter out. She said, then I had to check myself and said, what are you doing? You're supposed to be helping everybody, and now you're turning your back. So she really had to go through her process of understanding that it's okay. It's okay for somebody to be different, and you can just love them from where they are. And I would say that's in not understanding people, not accepting people. What I see is then it causes unnecessary pain. Teenagers run away from home because they're not able to do certain things. They're forced into prostitution because they're not able to be free in their own identity. And even if it's confusing, like let's talk through it like at the dinner table.
Right.
So I don't know. So that's why I support you in your efforts, and I really hope that you find a way how to present it to our young people, so then they won't have to go through these episodes of heartache and confusion and loss and being caught in traps, because love is really all we need, period. I always sing that. That's like my mantra. If we understand that everybody deserves to be treated fairly, no matter who they are, and your book will help maybe shine some light for somebody, open up some doors, open up somebody's eyes, and I hope that you're able to get it to the people that it needs to be, that needs to read it, and that we can just keep passing on the message. How was it? You said now you're in the process of marketing. You say you had your book out, but you really wasn't marketing it. What are some of the ways that you're using what are some of the things that you're doing to market your book?
So mainly through word of mouth. I'm not the best at marketing, to be honest. I let some of my friends know that I wrote a book and I would love their feedback, would love them to read it. And so a lot of my close friends have read it. I've been more so very closed off with it in terms of like family and stuff like that. I honestly don't feel like my family is ready to read such a book. It's very raw, very detailed, very emotion filled. It describes every step of my life and coming out and how I felt in each step. And so for me, I think that's made it hard to market it more, especially because the community that I want to reach is teenagers. And I wrote my book to let teens know who are struggling with identity that it is okay. It is okay for them to be who they are and to express themselves. And I feel like my book also offers them tools of how to get through certain identity transitions in their life. So I think that's why it's been hard to market, because I want to market to teens, but where exactly do I do that? Considering I'm an adult, So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a little bit difficult.
I can help you with that. We'll talk later. The platforms are out here. The platforms are definitely available to us. It's just a matter of really sticking to it. And
Mhm.
one thing about it is, and I'll say this to all my authors, when you have such powerful transformational literature, this is why you have to also develop speaking techniques, to develop ways to deliver a message to audiences, so it's drawing them in, because you're pointing out a problem, then you're giving them solutions, and you say in your book you have tips, so that right there alone is making it a teaching book. So it's really a great opportunity for you to grow with it, and I just really applaud your courage, because it takes a lot of courage to be true to yourself. So for that, I applaud you
Thank
tremendously.
you.
So tell me what's next. Well, where's the next book, or what's the next event that you're going to be part of? I know you're getting this PhD.
Yes, whew, it's a lot of work. But yes, I haven't really been able to focus on what I want to do next, but I do want to keep my books very real and queer focused. That's the audience that I want to continue to support and cater to. I feel like I have so many stories to tell and so many experiences that need to be passed down to others.
Mhm.
So those are my thoughts. I will probably continue this journey of telling my story and maybe potentially do a self-help book. I also love poetry, so I thought of that before, maybe queer poetry, I don't know. But those are my thoughts.
Well, whatever it is. Now, when are you looking to graduate?
I actually just started my
Oh,
program, just
okay.
finished my first year. And my program, it's 5 years long. Oof.
Okay.
So not until 2023-ish, and then I plan on getting licensed and opening my own practice,
Okay,
and
cool.
continuing to support teens and those who are struggling with identity and trauma.
Okay. That's good. And that time, Kiki, that time a fly past, and then you'll be like, "Who? I thought it was so long." And then you'll be there. You are. You'll be doing it. You'll be where you want to be. Because time flies. Time is so unyielding. It's like, oh, you're not gonna do anything. This clock is gonna keep ticking, keep
Right.
ticking. Yeah. So that's really good. I can see you. Have you thought about going into production, like with media or short stories, or you know, um, podcasting?
No, not in particular, but I'm open to everything.
Yeah, that's
So,
a good platform. That's a good platform. I know some people that do a lot of like mini series,
okay.
and then I have some people that can actually take your current project and turn that into something, that may be beneficial that you would like to see. And getting, I think, in visual art, that's another great way to get your message out to the community. Just help them seek, different avenues of learning, I should say.
Mhm.
And we're in a world that, is so much stuff, even with blogging. That's another a good tool to reach people. So I just say continue success to you. What advice would you give someone that is have been hesitant about telling their story, or just finishing their book in general? What's some of the great advice that you can pass on to our listeners, our viewers today?
I would say it took me a while to finish my book. The best thing that helped me, I would say, is I took breaks. I feel like, every now and then I would struggle with new ideas or what to write next. I took breaks. And I know, like,
Mhm.
I did feel kind of rushed to finish it. I'm sure every author feels that way, or most. But that's one piece of advice I would offer. And then also to not be afraid to invest in your book. I
Mhm.
feel like at times, I hired editors trying to find the cheap ones that
Mhm.
weren't that great at editing. It is expensive to edit your book and get it published and get someone to design the cover, but it's worth it, you know? Like your cover is the first thing people see. So that's
Absolutely.
another piece of advice I would give is to just don't be afraid to invest in it.
Hold your book up. We didn't hold your book up for everybody.
Here it is.
There it is. There it is. I like it. It's real simple, real nice.
Yes. I feel
Thank you
like
so much.
it's a quick read. A few people that I've read it have read it in like 2 weeks or so or less, depending on how much of um, a reader you are. If you're an avid reader, you may finish it quickly. But yeah, it's short and sweet, but jam packed with a
But
lot.
jam packed
Yes.
with some good stuff, some great information. So she says her advice would be to take breaks and don't be afraid to invest in. And I must say the most your biggest investment is going to be in your editing, you know, because you want to
Mhm.
make sure that you get your editing right. And there's different types of editors for different things. So you want to make sure you find the right editor. Like with me, when I wrote my book of poetry, I didn't need the kind of editor that was going to go in and try to change my tone, because my tone had to stay the same. So I didn't need them to fix my words or anything like that, you know, but just to check them. Some of my words I deliberately misspelled, you know, it's my voice. But you definitely want to invest in getting the right editor for
Right.
your project and not let everybody try to take shortcuts, but then they'll go spend $1,000 on an iPhone. Like, I don't get
Right. Right.
it.
That was me. I feel like I tried to take some shortcuts, and I feel like you should also pick an editor who is more aligned with you and your values.
Absolutely.
Like one of my editors was a male who wasn't of color. That did not work out. So
Yeah.
I think it's best to choose an editor that has some type of experience with what you're going through, or that is again just aligned with who you are as a person.
Yeah. And that's so true, Kiki. That's so true in anything. Like when you go to do collaborations, when you go to do any type of projects, you want to make sure that that person that you have that soul meeting, you know, like do you get
Right.
me type of thing, because then it's a greater collaboration in order to let me, like, it's like playing tennis. I hit the ball to you, you hit it back to me. We're in this kind of
Right.
rhythm thing. So I appreciate you sharing that. And another thing I want you to leave us with tonight is what is your one power word that you will leave our viewers with?
One power word. That's a great question. I would say, one power word. The word that comes to mind right now, it's not very
Just
elaborate.
say
I would say
it.
strength.
Strength. There you go. There you go. That's a great word. Say the first thing that comes to mind. That's the one that you're supposed to go with. That's the one dropping your spirit. Strength. And I like that. So you say, take a break. Don't be afraid to invest in strength. You can get Kiki Monet's book on Amazon. That's where you can go get it. Please get it. I don't know why we didn't put that up there. So we know that most people like to sell their books on Amazon. So
Mm-hmm.
go over there to Amazon and pick up a copy. And please don't be a stranger to the I Am Enough talk show. We want to keep up with you. We want to know what you have going on next, you know, whatever. And especially these 4 years are going to fly past. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to wish you congratulations already on getting your PhD, and
Thank
keep
you.
saving the children in the school. Keep helping the eighth graders transition into high school, because that is a whole nother
Right.
world experience is going into high school. So I thank you for all your service that you do for our children and for our community. And you stay true to yourself. You stay true to just the world in general. Letting your light be a blessing, because that's what I see in you. I see light around you, and I see you as a true blessing. So for that, I say thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being a part of um, our first summertime virtual book fair. And we'll be back in the fall, so we would love to have you again.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my story. Really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. So, you guys remember that Kiki's book can be found on Amazon. It is Crash, and follow her on IG. Make sure you follow her on IG and see what's up. And if you have any resources that she can use, please pass them on, because see, this is the thing. When we're operating together, then everybody always will get a thought, and that thought should come to, how can I help serve my my brother, my sister? How what kind of information can I share with them? So these are the things that we always are in tune with on the I Am Enough talk show, is collaboration and sharing resources. You are as rich as your resources allow you to be. You sometimes, you want to go build a house and you say, well, I don't know really how to do it. Well, guess what? We got resources for you. I want to move. I don't know how to do it. Guess what? We have resources for you. This is why I always encourage you every time we go live to put down anything that you have going on. Put your business down in the link. You never know who is looking for you. This is why I say put down where you are in the world, because she's in California. If you are, you need somebody to connect with in California. Now you have somebody. We've been talking to people all week, and there seem a lot of them are in Virginia, in the DC area. Well, you have resources. We've been talking to teachers. You have resources for teachers. We've been talking to film producers. You have resources. This is what I mean when I say pay attention. Pay attention to who's talking, because you never know. Maybe that resource isn't for you. It may be for someone else. So as you're in your day-to-day walk, in your day-to-day communications, you can always say, you know what? I heard about somebody on the I Am Enough talk show, and I think you should call them up, and I think they have some resources for you, because we definitely have a lot of resources. So without further ado, I want to bring up Lucretia and see what she's all about. She's been waiting patiently in the back room. Hopefully she hasn't eaten up all the snacks, because there's still some more guests coming through, and we have to share the snacks. We got to be, we have to be kind in sharing our snacks. So let me grab her and make sure that she left some snacks back there. Did you leave some snacks back there?
I left a little bit, just a little bit, enough you get a little taste in your mouth.
Yeah. So hopefully you didn't eat them all up. How you doing today, Queen?
I'm blessed. Can't complain. How about you?
I am wonderful. I am on top of the world. I'm feeling fabulous. I need you to do me a favor. Turn your volume down, since you don't have headsets. So make sure your volume is low down, so you can't hear yourself. And
okay.
So yeah, that's much better. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Now I also need you to do the same thing in the private chat. Put down your social media. And where can we find your book? Just Me and God.
You can find my book. You can find it on Amazon. You can also find it on my website, which is lucretiamaze.com. And you can also find it on lulu.com.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with the two, which is Amazon and on your website.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna tell you a trick. You should really try to direct people to your website as much as possible. Not Amazon, because we all know about Amazon. But right. Direct them to your website, so then you can capture your contacts and build your, keep building your list. So then when you're doing your travel and you're doing different events, then you have that database right there that you're always building. I'm always teaching, so work with me, roll with me. And what's your IG?
It's Lucretia Maze.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna move out of your way while you introduce yourself, and then when you come back, we're going to talk about Just God and Me.
All right. So my name is Lucretia Maze, and I inspire faith-based women to strengthen their relationship with God during the storms in their life. And I also encourage them to know that God is that umbrella to keep you covered during the storm to get to your rainbow.
That's all you got to tell them. So I'm going to have to ask the questions. So, Miss Mays, where are you from?
I'm from good old Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North
Yes.
Carolina. I think you're like the third author that's been from that area, Raleigh, North Carolina. Is that where?
Awesome.
Yeah, is that where you were you born and raised there?
Born and raised.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about life growing up.
Life growing up was good. Both my parents, and I have two sisters, and I also have a brother. We stay in a close. Everybody's kind of close knit in my family, so everybody's just close. I love growing up in the country, um, just spending time with family.
Okay. So how you have a big family?
Yeah, well, I would say sort of big. Got a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles, and just family friends that grew up to become family.
Okay. Okay. Great. And what do you do in Raleigh?
I work for the state of North Carolina, and I'm also a entrepreneur. So I'm doing both of those.
Okay, wonderful. Now, when did you become an author?
I became an author. I always loved to write, but I necessarily published back in December. I would say September. I started writing, and I went through a troubled time in my life where that led me to become an author, where I wanted to share how I turned my trauma into my testimony. So once that happened, that kind of pushed me into becoming an author and opened, so many doors for me mentally of where I want to go with other projects with writing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that was this just God and Me was is that your first book?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
It
First
is.
book.
Okay. What was the feeling like when you finished the book?
It was nervous, kind of putting it all out there because I've never done that before, just being, I've always been transparent, but something as this that happened to me, it was just, I was scared, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how people would react, didn't know if I would get support, just didn't know if I was going to be good enough to be an author.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any support as you were writing your book?
Oh yes, my husband and my mom and my dad and my sisters. Yep, they were very, very supportive, and my friends as well too. My
That's
best
good.
friends.
Okay, so you had a lot of support.
Yeah,
That's
they said I
great.
should have been doing it. I don't know what's taking them so
Uh,
long.
that's wonderful. It's funny how people can see into our lives what we should do, and then sometimes we don't see it for ourselves. Well, why do you think that is?
Sometimes it's easier for other people to see you more than you see yourself. That's the same with you. Always are able to give people encouraging words. You're able to motivate them, but when it comes down to you, sometimes you don't have that to pour into yourself. So I can understand that so well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what are you going to? What's your intentions for your book? How you marketing your book, and who do you aim as your audience? Who's your target audience?
I would say, I want to get towards, faith-based women, but anybody who's going through a storm in their life where their faith has, kind of diminished, and they don't know which way to go. And they just, with churches have been closed, due to the pandemic, I know a lot of people, it put them mentally in a totally different space with COVID and everything. So I want to be able to reach everybody, anybody and everybody who needs, just that good lifting up where they may not have anybody to talk to and they can write their thoughts out between just God and them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have any type of ritual that you do daily for your for that developing that relationship?
Yes, I do in the morning, like prophetic planning, just reading the Bible and then taking that and breaking the scripture down, how it relates to life and how I can apply that to life. And just doing that daily because, reading the word daily has really gotten me through a lot.
Was there ever a time when you wasn't reading daily? And then tell me about how do you seem like life was at that time?
Yes, I would say before I went through my medical trauma, which I talked about, in my book, I was reading. I could say I was going to church daily, but I wasn't feeding myself daily, which is, feeding the word daily. And just going to church, yes, that's all fine and dandy, but you need that relationship outside of church. You really have to feed your spirit outside of church in order to know God more and get in a better relationship with Him. And so before then, I would say I was neglecting that, and I could tell in my life how that was going. And now that I have, picked that back up, I can tell a total different walk. You can tell your talk. You can tell when you walk into a room that it's a total difference in, me having my better, getting up early and having my daily relationship with Him in the morning.
Could you give us some examples of what's the difference of when you weren't studying and applying to versus to how you are now?
I would say not being a good judge of character with some people.
Mm.
You need that spirit of discernment. You need to know who's for you, who's not for you, who you can share your greatest moments with, because you have to know the difference between praying people and praying people. So I have learned that
Say
a
that
lot.
again. I want to give you the bell on that one. Hold up, LaQuisha. You running too fast. You won't even let the good stuff like soak out there and linger about for a minute. She said to know the difference between praying and praying. That is awesome. Because
Yes,
people do
that's
be out
very
here
important.
praying on you, don't they? Is
Exactly,
that
taking your stuff, taking your ideas, and you think they're for you. Here they go, pop up with some of the things that you had already talked to them about. So you have to be able to be a good judge of character. You need to, that's a discernment. You have to know, those people and kind of cut those people off. And I
that's good.
learned that. So yeah.
So you can say that because you have made that commitment to read and process and believe, and then things are coming to you in a clearer light than before.
They are, and I'm learning to be more patient too. I'm learning to, learning how to be in the waiting room. Just like we were waiting
Wow.
backstage to come to be on next. Learn how to be patient, because God is not a vending machine. I
Oh,
always thought you can put a prayer in, all of a sudden, cha-ching, here come, okay, here's what I want, that house. But I have to learn how to be in the waiting room and just be patient. So that comes a lot with strengthening your relationship with God.
that is excellent. Yeah, that's so true. Call it like the process of life. We have to know that
Yeah,
there's this time that we seasonal and things that we have to go through and purge from getting
right.
ready. Yeah. So so
Right.
so that's great. Come on, keep dropping some nuggets down there. I finally got you opened up. Yeah, y'all need to, one thing for sure, they need to write down praying versus praying. Praying. Yeah. You gets the gist of it. And one of somebody we was talking the other night, and it was a very interesting conversation, and it basically discernment. I say when we really try to not to disconnect from spirit, but to know that we are spirit, then that
Right.
discernment kind of flows through us, and especially as women have a
Yes.
special gift of discernment, but we
Hmm.
gotta get our we get hardened, and we don't we one thing that I think, and you can let me know your opinion, your ideal. Do you think that sometimes when we going through stuff and we then become unforgiving, that it blocks our discernment?
Oh gosh, yes, yes. I believe that wholeheartedly. When you don't forgive, that's just like that bitter root, and it blocks a lot of things. It blocks blessings, it blocks discernments, it blocks growth. That's kind of like, when you don't water a plant, it's not going to grow. It's just going to dry. It's going to wither. It's going to die. So when you don't, have that discernment, and, don't forgive people, as God has forgiven us many of times. And, it's just, we need to have a forgiving spirit to move on. Don't take that, you don't want to keep taking them same grocery bags with you to every place you go. Don't keep holding on those bricks and taking them. You going to this spot, then you going to this spot. You got to let it go. Forgive people. Move on. Because how are you saying you're growing and you still carrying that dead weight?
And I think that's what people struggle with a lot is not being able to forgive. And when you're not able to forgive, then you can't move on. You can't grow. And he's like, what's going on? Well, something is there. Something is blocking you.
Right.
And Luella was on earlier and she talked about fasting and how fasting has really, really, really helps. Do you have a fasting practice? And could you, if you do, could you share any of your thoughts behind that?
Oh, I do. I believe in fasting and praying. Our pastor actually gave me a book to help me to go in depth about fasting. So I do, along with a group of people that I'm with, we fast for 3 days, the first through the third of each month. And with fasting, we fast from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. water only, and we feed ourselves off the word because that's how you get full. And it has really, helped me have a better relationship, hear from God more. I'm a journaler, so I love to write down, I just say those godly downloads. He downloads a lot into me. When I'm fasting and I have a clearer mind and knowing how to approach things and not just going to God, fasting for, okay, Lord, I need you to work this miracle by the 15th. It's just, it's more of, God, I just want to just bask in your presence. So, I love fasting. Fasting and praying has really helped me develop and grow.
I love it. Well, that's beautiful. And that's what I say as this collective group of authors, there is so many tools that each author leaves behind. Like and basically comes down to that tool of self-awareness where you say, you know what, I can do this book, and that tool of being unselfish, because as you mentioned before, there is a sense of fear almost sometimes, or apprehension, when it goes to releasing these stories, because it's like, am I good enough? Is this going to do that? Is just all of these things, so you're in your
Right.
head a lot. But then when you get it done, you be like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. What was I
Right.
waiting on? So, and so many people have shared that they finally understood that writing was not for them, that it was for the reader, that it was
Right.
for the individual that's stuck in that
Mhm.
indecision. So, and that's what you realize as you say you were
Right.
going through your process. You said, well, I wasn't really forthcoming, but then when I got nervous, because then it started, the floodgates
Right.
started opening up and you couldn't stop it. Do you see just me and God? Do you see that as a continued conversation in literature?
I do. Me and one of my good friends, she's like a sister. We talked about it. She was like, you need to just expand on this more, because she bought a book. She was like, I'm not telling you this just because we're friends. And I know she'll be brutally honest. And she was like, you just need to really, that's the people you need in your corner. She
Yes.
just said that, you need to expand on this more. She said, I can see this going further, like a series. And it's crazy that she said that, because that same day I had already been writing down some things of how I want to approach my next project. So I was like, that's only confirmation of what I need to do next.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I just pray for your continued success. I really commend all my authors that come on here, because you finished. There's
Yeah.
so many unfinished projects, and to just finish something is a definite accomplishment. And you have to
Right.
keep patting yourself on the back, and you have to get aggressive with getting your word out. Be
Mm-hmm.
excited, get scream, like walk into the stores boldly and say, you know what are you reading? I have some good news I want to share with you, because if
Right.
the mission is to save lives or to touch lives or to add value, nobody knows
Yeah.
if you don't tell them,
Yeah.
you
You have to be a
know?
walking billboard. Like you have to, shout it. It's not that you're, being, soliciting, out here trying to just, like, pit bull, but you just like, look, I got something that's going to help you. I didn't
Yeah,
write it just for it to sit on the shelf. I
absolutely.
wrote it to help you. So, I've learned that too, learning to be a walking billboard, learning, if I tell everybody, you don't have to buy my book, but it costs you nothing to share
Mhm.
when I put out, about my book or when I put out about anything. So yeah.
Absolutely. I just really, really appreciate what you're doing. And I just noticed that the website was missing an E. I don't know if you saw that.
Look, I was so
Um,
busy talking, having a good old time. I didn't even know.
I'm correcting it now. So you can go to her website and you can now on your website, are you also posting like what you have coming up, any events or anything like that you're planning on doing?
Yes, I do. It's also attached to my social media because I do a lot of posting with my social media as well. So I do have, upcoming events and everything like that.
Okay, great. And tell us, just leave with us before you get out of here. Leave our viewers with a word of advice of them getting their dreams off the shelf, or I should say, mainly in particular, that book that they've been holding back. What would you say to
Um,
them?
I would say, like the scripture says, write the vision and make it plain. Share your word. Share your story because you never know how your story can help somebody. You never know. I mean, you can write your story, this year and next year, somebody runs across it and they still can get that help. There's no
Mhm.
expiration date on testimonies or turning, traumas into a testimony.
That's great. Turning your traumas into a testimony. And what power word would you leave our viewers with tonight?
Resuscitate.
Ooh,
um, resuscitate your dreams, resuscitate your faith. Um, don't give up, just resuscitate,
I love
live.
it.
You
I
can do
love
it.
that.
So, revive. I love that word,
I love
it's
that.
the
Resuscitate.
flourish. Yeah. So, don't think nothing's dead yet. There's no
Ooh,
DNR on your dreams. So you
ooh,
can
ooh.
resuscitate.
Come on now, come on now, come on now. That's right. That's right. There is no DNR on your dreams. You better stop it, I say. Got the back of my hairs on my neck standing up. What's up, Nancy Manny? Got the back of the hairs on my neck standing up. You better resuscitate your dreams. There is no DNR on your dreams. That's right. As long as you breathing, you can keep dreaming. Uh-oh, I done
Exactly.
found me
Come
another
on, you better
saying.
come on. Where the collection plate at? And the choir.
We on the road here. Well,
Okay.
I just absolutely love everything you're doing. I want you to just continue doing it. This is what we need. I say each voice makes a difference. We're like this big ocean with just single drops of water, and it's just one drop, one drop, one drop, and then you're looking up and you have the Atlantic Ocean, or you have the the flowing seas that flows
Right.
from one thing into the next thing. This is what
Yeah.
life is all about. I support you in your dreams and your endeavors. Anything that the I Am Enough talk show can do for you, we are right here to serve you. We offer full marketing solutions, sit down, help you strategize, whatever platforms you're looking to for to get on involved. And if you're doing something, please let us know. Tag
Okay.
us, tag us in wherever you are. You could be doing it, doing it in North Carolina, South Carolina, upstate, down south. It doesn't matter, because
Right.
one thing I like about social media is it breaks barriers.
Yes.
There's no barriers. There's no barriers. And we have to realize that it's not just important for me to share my information, but it's also important for you to share my information. It's important for me to share your information.
Right.
And this seems to be a cycle that we kind of don't know how to do that because we're just tunnel vision on what we have going on,
Yep.
but not realizing that it's a greater blessing when I can say, let me send this person to you in your area because you're doing something in that area. I'm not going to be there personally, but I entrust that you're going to take care of them.
Iron sharpens iron. That's all it
Yes.
is.
Yes. And know that if you say you have somebody in Atlanta, you want to come to one of our events here, know that they're going to be taken care of because of who we are together.
Right.
So I just want you to, I just want to establish that, and I hope that our relationship continues to grow. And
Yes.
I wish you all the best.
You
And
too. Thank you so much.
thank you. And I got to go back and watch these clips because we said a lot. We got a lot of little slogans going on over here.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, sweetie. And y'all
Thank
make sure
you.
that you follow her by her name on all social media, Lucretia Mays on Instagram and Facebook. Just
It's
guiding
appreciated.
people.
No A.
No, did
No
I put an
A.
A? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Oh, see there? Now you catching it. It's been scrolling the whole time. I'm like,
It's
what?
all right.
Okay. I knew I did it right in your name.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me fix this. This got to be fixed for the camera. Can't have this being wrong. Okay, there we go. So you can find her on all social media, connect with her, purchase her book, go to her website and purchase her book so then she can keep you
I'll sign the
informed.
copies. If they order it from my website, you will get a signed copy from me.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, and you can't get that on Amazon, y'all.
No.
Amazon don't send any signed copies. So I
No.
want right. So I just want you to have a good night tonight, and we'll be here one more day, which is tomorrow is our final day, our wrap up day.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm glad. I'm really blessed to have you and all the other authors come through.
Thank
So I
you.
just
This is
say thank you
awesome.
again. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy.
All righty.
Bye bye. So, everybody, I'm gonna just let that scroll because I had put that A in her name, and so we got the right spelling. And then y'all can go to the website right now. And I don't know if she has it where you can send her a notification on her website, but if so, if you can, just go on there and say, "Hey, I seen you on the I Am Enough talk show. I like what you said," and so we will know. That's what we do. That's what we want to do. So I want to keep this party going. Um, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm gonna bring on my next guest. She's patiently waiting, beautifully waiting in the green room back there, and she's gonna tell us what she has going on. This is a dear sweet friend of mine, Miss Sandy Rogers. She has so much stuff going on. She's a dynamic. She's a powerhouse. But I'm gonna let y'all listen to what she have to say. She got a lot to say. Trust me. Trust me. She got a lot to say. Hi, beautiful. How are
Hey,
you?
darling, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am just wonderful. You just sitting back there glowing, looking fabatastic.
Well, thank you, thank you. And
And
so are you. I see we got on the same colors here, so it's that
well,
Gemini vibe
it's the
going, right?
Gemini
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
Well, you know what it is. That is what it is. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we're gonna come back and enjoy this conversation. And I was not able to. Well, I'll just get it as we're talking, and I'll just make the necessary adjustments. So I'm gonna move out of your way, so you can tell them about what you have. Who
All
you are,
right.
because I
Uh,
know it will take a year to tell them what all you have going on. So just indulge them.
yes, ma'am. Thank you. Hey, everybody. I'm Sandy Rogers, and born and raised in Watts, California. Have been in Atlanta, Georgia since '95, and I have lived more than probably 9 cat lives. I've done a lot of community improvement and development. I started back when I was 10 years old, and have not stopped. It keeps elevating to another level, but I have never stopped with being concerned about our communities and the empowerment of it. And so that has taken me in a lot of different directions. And so I'm always on this learning curve. I am an author, I am a film producer, I am a talk show radio host. I conduct workshops. I am a holistic healing practitioner, and the list just goes on and on. So I dedicate my life to being of service to other people and to being of the best help that I can. I'm a master gardener. I believe that we must be in control of our own food and know where our food is coming from. I am a raw food health educator. I have done several workshops online. Back in 2018, I convened 52 people of color to do an online wellness webinar, the first of its kind. And we had about 20 different countries that participated in it. And recently I partnered with 3 other sisters, and we did some wellness webinars online geared toward the Black woman. So it's a lot of everything that I do, and I'm always learning, and I'm always tickled by it.
Yeah. Always tickled by it. And that's just the drop in the bucket. I'm like,
I was trying to bring it in,
you such a blessing, though. It just proves that we are so powerful in all of the things that we do and all of the people's lives that you touch. And even going back from the days that you were in California and you didn't even tell them that you had a dance studio and how instrumental you was in the riots.
Well,
the riots.
I actually had a modeling company.
That's what I mean.
My own modeling company.
Modeling company. That's what I meant when I said dance studio. Your modeling company and how instrumental you were during that time.
Yes. And survived 2 riots. The Watts riots in the 60s and the Rodney King riots in the 90s. So yeah.
That's something.
It's all about growth,
Yeah.
Without a test, there's no testimony.
And you stay, and where are you living now?
I'm here in the Cobb County area of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm out near Six Flags in Austell. So,
Okay. And you mentioned something when you say you never stop learning.
Exactly.
Would you say you were a professional student?
Oh, definitely. Student of life, like life is always teaching us. Mm-hmm. And it's just like doing the wellness webinar back in 2018. I remember 2015, 2016, that I took the film producers course at People TV here in Atlanta. Right. And so most of the people that were in the class either had their own shows or, they wanted to go and work for Tyler Perry's studio or something like that. And so they would say, well, Sandy, why are you doing it? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to learn how to do this. Mm-hmm. And so it lined everything up for me to be able to interview the 53 individuals that was on that webinar and be able to edit and do everything to have that completely produced. So, Spirit knows better than me.
Yeah. Because, we're always drawn to learn something. I know it's hard for me to focus on because when something comes up, I'll say, oh, I want to go over here and look at that. So it's like, no, you finish this email, or finish do not go over there yet. So it's just a beautiful thing. And then you doing the master gardening and, you working doing all of your holistic practices are just a blessing to everybody. So for that, I really, really appreciate just what you do.
Thank you.
And I was gonna say now, out of all the things that you do, what would you say your top 3 things are?
Ooh.
I was gonna say one, but I've tried to. That's why I say your top 3.
It's a great question. Absolutely great question. So I would say the top would be the food.
Mhm.
Well, no, the top would be the spirituality. I'm also an ordained minister. So the spirituality, our spirituality, the food that we eat, and our energy healing.
Mm,
Because the creator made our bodies to heal themselves when
mhm,
we take care of the body. And so the 2 most important ways that we can take care of our body is through nutrition, that what we consume, both in our mind and in our mouth. So the mind part or the heart would be that spirituality part. And so,
mhm,
and then the energy, because our bodies are made to be in alignment at all time to ward off different illnesses or diseases. You know, when the energy fields are in alignment, then we're good to go. You know, we can fight
mhm.
off or not even have to deal with any type of disorder that may be going on.
Mm. That's good stuff right there. Good stuff. Because if you don't, and you do a lot of work. You always give a lot of great information on educating us in the area of food.
Yes.
What how did you get drawn to that? And when was your awakening to the benefits of food
Ooh.
strongly?
Well, I actually started back in the 60s with the How to Eat to Live with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. My brother has been a Muslim since, I believe, 66, 67. And so I was always interested in what he was doing. And following that protocol back then really helped me to take another look at food. But then I went on, right? And we do what we do. And in 99, I was diagnosed with Crohn's, which is an intestinal disorder. And from what they told me, it could kill me if I didn't keep it under control. And so Crohn's is parasites in your intestines, basically, is what it is. And the pills that they gave me didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It made me sicker. And so when I went back and told the doctor, she said, well, I'm not really versed in that. Although I, diagnosed you with that disease, I'm not really versed to tell you. Maybe maybe you're not taking enough of the pill. So double what I told you, And I was like, I was sitting in the parking lot like, one of us is crazy.
Either you.
It's gonna be me or that doctor. So long story short, I went to a naturopathic doctor in Texas that had helped to heal my niece of the 2 different thyroid conditions. And that was when I first got introduced to this whole idea of energy, and that the energy could tell a doctor exactly what's going on in your body without you having to take off any clothes.
Mm.
That was amazing to me.
Wow.
Because he's sitting up there like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, how you know that? I'm used to putting on the robe, taking off all your clothes and all. He didn't do any of that because he read my energy field. So that gave me a whole new understanding on that energy part. And then when I began to do the research on the colon, and the colon health and the digestive system, the intestines, and understanding that the foods that I had been eating up until that time were impacting the sides of my intestine. And that was what was actually causing me the discomfort and the disease, and, creating a hosting place for the parasites. So I took a course at Living Foods Institute here in Atlanta. And 10-day course. I later went to become an instructor with them. I took detailed scientific healing foods course through Jeff Premack and his Supreme Science company. And, just learned how it all worked together, and what do we really consume that gives us energy and that can heal our bodies, and why it does it the way that it does. So the food industry is they pretty smart.
They tricky.
Right.
They real tricky. They gangsters.
Yeah, so we got to unlearn all of that stuff, and have someone, to help us, or at least put it out there for us to kind of get a hold of what could possibly be happening.
And not to get off their subject, because I know we're going to talk about this book, but I just find it fascinating that a physician can diagnose you and then not have any way of eliminating, bringing you to a point of healing. They don't really give you those tools. They just give you a way that you've been diagnosed, and here is how you manage that diagnosis. What you've been diagnosed to what we just told you. Oh, you have diabetes. Okay, well, here's some pills. Not to let's reverse the diabetes in your body.
Exactly.
And so that's another talk for another day, and we often get deep into that. But those are just some things, and that's why she is who she is, and why she is definitely one of my go-tos when I have questions or concern about what's going on in my body, because we have to constantly just get to learn our bodies,
right,
and know what works for us and what doesn't. So let's talk about the A's habit. What is this all about? What is this new masterpiece about?
I know. Look, so I've been listening to especially the authors tonight, and they have just been on point with everything that they've been talking about. So as with Kiki, who was on earlier, this is a very personal book and a very intimate look into my life. And this book is important because it helps me to keep my word to myself. Back in the 80s, I made a commitment to help heal myself and others by any means necessary. And so in order to do that, we have got to tell our story, right? And we've got to be sincere in what we're saying in order to deal with it, to acknowledge it, and to bring some closure, or that healing you were just talking about, Sister Wanda, bring that healing around it. And then in the early 2000s, 2003, 2004, I made my premier voyage over to Ghana, West Africa. And while I was standing in the female dungeon and feeling this intense energy just coming up my body from our female ancestors, I made another promise. I made a promise to all of those spirits to go into a concentrated modality of healing for the female energy globally. Globally, right?
Wow.
And then in writing this book, which took me a long time, I realized that the part of the title is called The A's Habit, Abandonment, Abortion, and Addiction. The abortion part, from a study that was done back in 2005, abortion kills more Blacks than all the 7 leading death reasons combined. Yeah. So I had to really kind of take a look at that. And it wasn't just about my story. It was about, this thing is deep, like there's some historical points that need to be considered in this. And let's take a look at all of it. And in the process, let's honor the unnamed babies that are no longer with us. So that's that's my reason for writing the book. And it's taken me well over 10 years. I've written 3 books in the process, but I know that the babies were helping me some days. I'd be like stuck, and they'd be tapping me on the shoulder. Here, what you need to put in there next. You know what I'm saying? So it's truly a labor of love. It will have you thinking. And we don't do as much critical thinking sometimes as we should.
Yeah.
Pick my words here, right? So, because,
or I should say, it should be like, as we could.
Yeah. Right.
As
right.
we could. And that's so interesting. But tell us about, say the other A's again: abortion, addiction.
It's abandonment.
Abortion.
Addiction.
Okay.
So we go into a little, how one leads to the other, one leads to the other. It's a tripling effect, a rippling effect, covering those 3, and how they might link together. I'm not saying this is the way that it's got to go, but there is some definite ties one to another. So if you're feeling like nobody likes you, nobody loves you, nobody gives a shit about who you are, then you may have a little feeling of abandonment, right?
Right.
I would think that the individuals that were stripped from their land in Africa and forced over here into a foreign place that was purposely robbed of their culture, their customs, their language, their selfhood, may feel a little abandonment. You know what I'm saying? And so how does that go? Like, how do you now process that in the rest of what you do? And is it possible that may have you making decisions that are not the best for you? Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can always see that, we're living in that those generational curses.
Yes.
And the system of killing us is just so deep. And even when you think about abortions, it's more clinics in the Black community than in anywhere. I mean, it's just crazy. They want to get rid of all the Black and brown babies.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that they want to do it. And that's because, it's just it goes so deep. So yeah, see, y'all get me all caught up and have to take a pause.
Yeah. And I'm not saying there's not a right and a wrong way. Wherever you stand is where you stand on it. Again, we just need to think. We don't think enough. We're programmed and conditioned as to what our responses are supposed to be, how we're supposed to think about certain things. And when we get back to our own power, that's where we'll truly make an impact on this world. So
absolutely. And that still goes, it kind of like that still goes back to food, because food blocks so much, eating these preservatives and fast foods on every corner, and you get angry and you're wondering, why am I feeling this way? Because you're uncomfortable and your health is failing you. So there's just so much that we have to take back our power in doing the things for our own health, in all areas of our health.
Yes.
And that's why it's master teachers like yourself that make a big impact and a big difference in what we go through on a regular basis, and what we need to go through, you know, doing the energy work and honoring the ancestors and
Yes,
that kind of things like that. So for that, I appreciate it. And how many books total have you written so far?
You know, I was trying to count them up earlier. I think this is number, I think this is like number 7 and number 8. And then plus I've helped 3 individuals to write their books too. So it just kind of depends, you know, like on where you're going to count it. My brother and I wrote a Amazon bestseller using prayer and affirmations to heal. And then I co-wrote 2 other books. And so my books are all about relationships one way or another. My first book is called All My Men. And then I wrote The Rose Garden, Remembering Our Beauty in Tough Times. And the next book was When God Leads, Just Follow, Look in My Mirror, God's Groceries, and now the A's Have It. And so you guys, I just want you to know that I barely got in to be a part of this, but I wanted to, and I wanted my new book to be premiered with Wanda, who is my beautiful sister queen. And so I have a proof copy because I have, it's just finished the process with Amazon.
Wow.
So I know, right? So I'm really
That's
excited,
nice.
Wanda, and I'm so honored to be a part of this first international virtual book fair. So thank you for what you do for everybody. You're such a pace setter, you know.
Well, I appreciate you and thank you. And you know, we definitely need your spirit to be a part of this, because it's phenomenal when you have this literature and you bringing it out, and you're so intentional with it. Like you say, this is my point, to serve, to honor the ancestors and to serve us in a way that says thank you, in a way of gratitude, in a way of love, in a way of non-judgment, you know, and that's the beautiful part of living. So I like to, you know, I just want to say just thank you. My extension of love goes right back to you. We grabbed your website so then people can kind of follow you. Is everything on your website, Sandy?
No, actually, I have a Linktree account, and I'll
Okay.
note that in the
Drop that in the private chat.
right, so that everything is on there. The
Okay.
links to the
Linktree.
book, my
Okay. Got it.
yeah, okay. So my links to the books, my radio show, my YouTube channel, which is where a lot of my information is, with as far as the work that I do in the wellness community, and the different virtual wellness events that I've helped to create, or created. And so, yeah, that Linktree has everything there. So,
Okay, I'm putting it up right now. And before we take off, what are your thoughts, or what is some information that you would like to share with our viewers in terms of producing their products, you know, writing their books, telling their stories? What's some words of encouragement or some great words of wisdom that you would like to leave with them?
thank you. If it scares the bejesus out of you, that's yours to write.
Woo. I ain't wrote that one yet myself. I was sitting here thinking.
That's what this one was for me, you know. But we all have a story, and we all have something that we can contribute to future generations. When we write, particularly I'm talking about people of color, when we write and have our books cataloged with the Library of Congress, so that there's a record of our input into the history of the world, not just the United States, but of the world, then our story can then be balanced out with what has been an incomplete story in the past. It's important for us to write our stories regardless to what the topic is, because our voices matter.
Absolutely.
And so we don't want our great grandchildren or our great great grandchildren to look back to 2021 and there's no books from their family members or from people that look like them. Learn. You've got resources like Wanda here, and the Queen is just top notch when it comes to offering you the assistance that you need. It's not difficult to put your words, your heart, the lessons that you've learned into words, and then put those words into a book. So I encourage you. Everyone, write your story. Let your voice become a part of the saga of this world of right now. What did you overcome with COVID? What did COVID do to you? How did it impact you? What did the quarantine mean? What new skills did you learn? Just from 2020, there should be at least 2 books in you.
Exactly. And it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of the authors that have come through the book fair thus far are new authors, and they wrote during COVID.
Yeah.
So that was the most interesting. When I go back, I think I'm going to have myself, I'll be turning everything into an event, but I'm in my downtime or just like laid out, going back to listen to all of these authors, and it was like, when did you write? And they would say 6 months ago, a year ago, during COVID. It all came together during that time.
Yeah.
So I think that like COVID was that blessing to perhaps produce literature that would not have been produced.
Yeah.
Because everybody was just moving so fast and not going anywhere.
And I think it's an opportune time, like when Katrina hit back in 2005, that was one of the things I wanted to do back then, because it's very therapeutic as well. And so, I wanted to get together those that escaped, the situation, and have them to write their story, and not just to write it, but then to also turn that writing into a product that could produce income for them. Exactly. So it's the same thing that we could do now, because even with the children, I know that the children have stories as well.
Absolutely.
Some are mad, some are, depressed, some are angry. Some don't know that they have a right to be heard, so,
Yeah. It's a lot of good stuff here. Y'all, if this is good stuff, this is good stuff. I can talk to you like all night, because we'll just go from one juicy discovery to the next. And yes, Tiasha, thanks for that. That was your saying. If it scares the bejesus out of you, it's for you to write. That is it. That is it right there. And what would be your power word that you would leave our people with tonight?
Joy.
Joy.
Joy takes you to a place.
I love it.
It's inner. Happiness is what happens on the outside of you. Joy is what happens on the inside of you. So that's under your control. And when you have that joy, nobody can take it away from you. So you're unstoppable, man. You just like full speed ahead, on the track. So yeah.
I love that. And that must be what I have, is a lot of joy.
You do.
Because no matter what I'm going through, it's like, I know that this is not permanent. This is not my identity. With that joy, you can go wrap around Just keep wrapping around the block, just over and over again. Just come on with it. So that is beautiful. So if the A's have it, is it out now? We can go and purchase it now.
Yes, you may. Please do. Please do. So this is a proof copy of the book. You see the little mark
I
that you
love
see
it.
right there, right? So
Uh-huh.
I just want to give a shout out to Cyrus Nelson. This is his original artwork right here. And he did this a number of years ago for me. Seriously, it took me a long time to write this book, but thank you, Cyrus. It's so beautiful. And yes, please support me. Get the book, have group discussions with your family. And one of the other authors too, we're talking about not necessarily having the support of family.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
do it anyway.
Do it
Do
anyway.
it anyway. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, Queen, I just want to thank you for always coming through and showing up and showing out and bringing all your positive light and your great energy and being such a great blessing to the entire planet, because you lift us up and you keep us on the straight and narrow, and you just do your thing with such grace and excellence, and just kind of like flows from you. I want to just thank you for that, for continuing to shine your light, since day one when I saw that light about 5 years ago now. It's
Something
like
like
time
that. Yeah.
from 5, 6 years ago. It's just forever shine so brightly. And I just thank you for that.
Thank
You
you.
got a
And
birthday
you as
coming up.
well, darling.
You have a birthday coming up.
I do.
Yeah.
A week from Sunday is actually on Father's Day this year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So happy pre-birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll
And
be the big 7-1.
ooh, yay. Look
Yeah.
at you
I'm
getting younger and
excited.
younger.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
thank you so much for what you do, Wanda. Seriously, I just wanted to be vocal and public about that. You are always with the best for other people. That what drives you to do all of these different programs that you do. And I just truly appreciate being a part of this first ever international virtual book fair. Thank you,
I
love.
tell
Thank you.
you, you're welcome, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, everybody, that was Miss Sandy. Put your hands together for her. Send her lots of love and light. Show her some love by going and purchase her new book, and just follow her, because you will learn. Trust me, you will learn a lot. She is a master gardener. She has she's on Facebook. She does daily blogs. She always gives us great information. It's just so much to her story that's constantly is she's a force to be reckoned with. That's all I got to say. So I have enjoyed my time with you tonight. We got one more day, and we start early tomorrow, 10 o'clock. We kick off our talks at 10 o'clock a.m. Saturday. So if you are up and about, come and hang out with us. We are going to keep bringing you some amazing authors as we wrap it up. If you are wanting anything, if you want to get on our platform, say after this, say you just found out about us and you wasn't able to get on to the book fair, don't worry. I do interviews all the time. I support authors, I support businesses. I tell you, my niche is just in wanting the best for people. So whether you're in school, I want you to be the best student. If you have a business, I want your business to be the best business. So whatever I can do, I work in the area of marketing. I am a certified coach with the John Maxwell team with strategies, and business is my niche. Also in media, helping you find those media outlets. Even Miss Sandy Rogers, she's one of our media outlets that I often encourage people to go onto her platform, because she does some amazing work. And So whether you want to write your book, or whether you need some resources or whatever, I get inbox all the time with, if I can't help you, then I probably know somebody that can. We're doing on Sunday, I'm just put this out, the 80 Women of Power are meeting in Snellville to do a tour of this facility that one of the that's associated with the nonprofit. And the 80 Women of Power is an investment group of women. So if you are in the Atlanta market and you think you want to learn more about it, please reach out to me and let me know. I'm also associated with WWCA, which stands for World Women's Conference Awards. That's a global organization. And I am the PR chairperson here in the Atlanta area with the Atlanta team. But if you, wherever you're watching, WWCA is an organization that supports women empowerment in the community and in service, in technology, business. We also have a youth department, which you met Amber the other day. She's over the youth division. So I share that resource with you in case you want to partner with other people and you don't want to do things by yourself. You can connect with some of these two great networks that I'm a part of. Also, Grady Taylor Radio, DJ Grady Baby Radio is one of our sponsors, and also another media outlet for you. We also offer you the Winning Evening News and the I Am Enough talk show. So anything that I can do to help service you in your dreams and your visions and your goals, because guess what? Your dreams matter. And you have to get vocal. You got to get bold. You got to let people know that you exist and you're not going anywhere. That's another one of our platforms. She exists with, shout out to Janelle Harris. So I just share this to let you know that you're not alone. We want to help you win, and anything that we can do to be instrumental in your win, let us partner with you and help you win. I will see you tomorrow. I love you. And there is absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Peace, love, and light. And bye for now.
Go through with PTSD also, I'm ex-military. But I learned how to turn it into microphone techniques. So I'm going to freestyle, and then I'm going to tell y'all a little something. Because Wanda D told me to freestyle. Say, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. Hard with the drums. I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I come from the boogie down, south side of town. MCs like me, we come incredible. See, I've been spending so much time in my head. Grab the microphone. Did you hear what I just said? I got skills, rocking on the mic. I pay bills all the time. Rapping on the beat with the rhyme. I'm coming off the top of my mind. I do this all the time. This is how I rhyme. I am enough.
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 I am enough. Times right now totally rough. Every time I'm dealing with this stuff, I grab the microphone and I don't bluff. And when I hold the microphone, I'm like the bluff. Sit back and watch the crowd rock. I grab the microphone non-stop. Blast the microphone is, I got a bonus to grab this mic and do just what I like. Too much hesitation, I had to take a turn. Sit back, relax, so I can unwind. Messing with my mind. Now I gotta come out here and show this one time that I could unwind. Say a little stuff that was on my mind. And this is how we do. Are y'all with me? I'm with you too. Say I am enough.
I am enough.
Say I am enough.
I am enough.
Come on, times are tough and you know it's rough, but say I am enough.
I am enough.
Say I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. I'm from the Bronx, baby. Alright.
In the 8C.
Hey y'all, it's me, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, your accountability coach helping you get it done. What is it that you need to get done? I can help you get on the media and make more money. Get that exposure you're looking for. So come see me. Check me out, all social media, under Wanda D. Hollis, yes, my government name. And you can also follow my website at IamEnough365.com. That's me, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, and I look forward to seeing you soon.